Hello Internet, Paragavan here. In this video, we will complete a micro course on NumPy, which is available on DPHI platform. So on Google search, you have to type DPHI and you have to go to this link dphi.tech and log in. Sign up and log in. After logging into the platform, you will get a display screen like this on which you have to click on courses. So it provides free data science and AI micro courses in which we will complete the first course, Introduction to NumPy. So Introduction to NumPy, what is the course about? We will learn the basics of NumPy Python package, numeric Python package used by all data scientists. This course is created or contributed by the instruction Manish Kumar. About the course, NumPy is a Python library that stands for Numeric Python or Numerical Python. It is one of the very first libraries in Python that will effectively make your numerical computation easy and efficient. NumPy contains all the necessary mathematical and logical operation that you can use while building models for your data science computation. It includes Fourier transforms and routines for shape manipulation. Operation related to linear algebra, random number generation, and many more are also provided. What you will learn, this course will teach you all the basics and fundamentals of NumPy libraries and function, manipulating an array, and many more. Learning NumPy will help you to handle elements and data in Python by allowing you to have powerful data structure, implementing multidimensional array and matrices while solving data science problem. At the end of this course, you will know the following things: arrays, vectors, and matrices, importing NumPy library, differentiate between Python list and NumPy array, create basic NumPy arrays and get the attribute of an array, adding and removing elements from an array, reshaping an array, and indexing and slicing an array. So you have to enroll for the course to get the access of the content, or if you have already enrolled, you have to click on continue learning, which will give you the full access. Go to the starting of the course where we are starting with the first module, Introduction to Arrays, Vectors, and Matrices. So we will go on arrays. If you switch to full screen mode, function F11, then slides will be displayed full screen. Introduction to arrays. So what we have to do in this, we have to understand keywords, we have to understand arrays, we have to understand difference between list versus arrays. So what is a list we have to understand, and what are dimensions we have to understand. So list is a ordered sequence of element which can store data of any type. If we consider any one example of list, suppose we are creating a list L1. So let us start annotating on the screen to take one example. We are creating a list L1. So this is the name of the list. It's equal to, in opening and closing square bracket, it can contain integer, it can contain a floating point number, it can contain a string. Suppose we are storing a string Python in the list, it can contain a sublist also, 10, 20, it can contain tuples. It is an ordered sequence of elements which are stored one by one so that they can be indexed, and it is ended by closing square bracket. If you want to access any element, you have to give the list name and opening and closing square bracket index of that element. Indexing in terms of list starts from zeros, while one of zero will retrieve an element which is one. Now clearing the screen, moving to the next part. Here in the example, we have various strings. First is a string, second is a string, third is a integer, fourth is a floating point number, and last is a string. It contains variables of different data types. So moving to the next slide, if we create a string with a list with a name A, then it contains 3 string, 1 integer, and 1 float. Dimensions. Now, what are dimensions? To understand dimension, let's take an example of a box. Box contains 3 dimensions: length, width, and height. So those can be considered as dimension of a block. There in Python data science, you have data structure like list, arrays, and vectors which suppose dimension. We can create n-dimensional list or n-dimensional arrays containing multiple dimensions. You will see how to assess when you have a n-dimensional data structure if you want to assess the element or to do the processing on the element later. Now, what are arrays? Similar to list, an array is also a data structure which can hold more than one value at a time, and it is a sequence data structure. Difference is that array can hold only a collection of ordered element of same data type. So if you are creating an array, it will contain all the elements which are of similar data type. For example, in the first case, we have created an array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is a one-dimensional array containing integer. In the second case, we have created a one-dimensional array A, B, C, D, E, which contains strings. In the third case, we have created a two-dimensional array. Here, opening two square brackets and closing two square brackets indicate that is a two-dimensional array containing all integers. Differentiating it from list, here there are two examples of list. In the first example, we have a list containing integers and a string. In the second example, we have list which contains integer, a string, and a sublist which is of integers. Why arrays? A combination of arrays together with Python could save you a lot of time. So if you use array, it will help you to reduce overall size of your code. List versus arrays. A list can store any type of value such as integer, string, etc. Whereas array stores only single data type value that it can only have an array of integers or array of strings, etc. Moving to the next module, what are vectors and matrices? So introduction to vectors and matrices. What is a vector and what is a matrix? We have to understand. A vector in programming is a type of array which is one dimensional. So it can contain one row or one column, but it has only one dimension. So one dimensional array will be called as a vector. So what are dimensions? So dimensions, for example, here in box, there are three dimensional length, width, and height. So you can have n-dimensional data structure which contains n dimension, 0 dimension, 1 dimension, 2 dimension, and so on. Vectors. One dimension array is called as a vector. For example, we are creating an array of integers, then it will be called as a vector. What is a matrix? Matrix contains rows and columns. It can be multidimensional or two-dimensional. Here we are creating a matrix A containing two rows represented horizontally with index 0 and 1, and three columns represented vertically with three columns. For example, here in this case, we have created, we can write something on the screen. We have created A with row 0 and row 1, which rows are represented horizontally, and three columns. Column index is 0, 1, 2, which are represented vertically, -2, 5, 5, 2, 6, 7. So A is a array, which is a two-dimensional array with two rows and three columns. Moving to the next part, shape of the matrix. So A is a two rows and three column matrix. Write its shape as 2 into 3, pronouns as 2 by 3. So A is a 2 by 3 matrix containing two rows and three columns. You see one more example. The shape of matrix also tells its dimension. The dimension of matrix A is 2, means it contains two rows and three columns. Dimensions are 2. Rows, one dimension for rows, one dimension for columns. If a matrix has 2 into 3 by 2 as its dimension, means the dimensions are 3. Here 2 into 3 by 2 will be treated as two matrices of 3 rows and 2 columns. Therefore, the dimension of that matrix will be 3. Now we are creating a matrix B with 3 rows and 2 columns. So it is having a shape 3 by 2. So here, what are the rows? Here, row 0 is -8 -4. Row 1 is minus 23 and 12. Row 2 is 18 and 10. So there are 3 rows and 2 columns. So first column is 0, -8, 23, 18. Second column is 1, -4, 12, 10. So whenever we talk about matrix, we talk about rows and columns, and matrix can be n-dimensional. So moving to the next part now. We will solve an exercise. So array can hold. What array can hold? A collection of ordered series of element. Yes, array can hold a collection of ordered series of element. Select the correct statement about a vector. A vector is a type of array that is one dimensional. Yes, it is true. What is the dimension of the given matrix? It contains 3 rows and 1 column. Therefore, dimension of this matrix will be 3 by 1. Therefore, the answer will be 3:1. It is solved. Click on submit. Your score is 3/3. We are moving to next module, which is introduction to NumPy. Here, we need to understand what is NumPy. So introduction to NumPy. In introduction to NumPy, learning objective are what is NumPy, why we use NumPy, and how we can import NumPy. Moving to the next part, what is NumPy? NumPy stands for Numerical Python. It is an open source Python library. Use of NumPy. It is used for working with numerical data in Python. Why NumPy? Makes the numerical computation easier and faster, consumes less memory. These are the advantages of using NumPy while working with numerical data in Python. So it is easier and faster, and it consumes less amount of memory while working on numerical data. Importing NumPy. So what are the various syntaxes using which we can import NumPy? So anytime you want to use a library in Python, your first priority should be make it accessible. So how you make it accessible? You can import or load NumPy in your notebook or any other Python IDE in two different ways. Import NumPy or import NumPy as NP, where in the second syntax, we are giving a alias NP name to NumPy so that every time we don't use NumPy, we use NP only to assess the functions and methods available inside the NumPy library. In this course, what we will use import NumPy as NP. Moving to the next module, Python list and NumPy arrays. So click on next. After clicking on next, it will navigate to the next part of the course. So arrays in NumPy. Next module, Python list and NumPy arrays in NumPy. So what is an array in NumPy? Like list in Python, an array is a data structure in NumPy. An array in NumPy can hold collection of ordered elements which are sequenced. An array in NumPy can hold data of same type. We have seen this also previously. You might occasionally hear an array referred as ND array, which is a shorthand for n-dimensional array. So NumPy arrays are also called as n-dimensional array. Here is one example of one-dimensional, two-dimensional, and three-dimensional NumPy array. So when you create one-dimensional NumPy array, it has only one dimensional where it is only single row and number of elements in the row are 4. When you are representing 2D array, so number of dimensions will represented as rows and columns, which indicates there are 2 rows. So 2 rows and 3 columns, 2, 3. In the third example, here is a three-dimensional NumPy array, which is 2, 4, 3, 2 into 4 by 3. So two matrices of 4 rows and 3 columns. So there are, moving to the previous slide, there are there are 4 rows, there are 3 columns, and we have 2 matrices. So this is the first matrix and this is the second matrix. Therefore, 2 into 4 by 3. So that is one example of 1D array, 2D array, and 3D array represented factorially. Moving to the next part, more information about an array. So what is a vector? A vector is a nothing but single row or single column in a NumPy array. So one-dimensional array, either it can be a row or a column, is called as a vector. What is a matrix? Matrix refers to an array with more than one rows or columns. Moving to the next module, wherein we have to create NumPy array from Python list. So create NumPy arrays from Python list. So create NumPy array from Python list. Here are some examples given. So create a Python list. So how a list is created here, using opening and closing square bracket, we are creating a list containing all integers 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So this list is created and stored in a variable Python underscore list. If we move to the next cell and print this, display this list on the user screen, it will display 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So we have created a list first with each of integers containing 5 elements, 2, 4, 6, and 10. Now we have to create a NumPy array for this. The first statement, we are importing NumPy array, NumPy library. So import NumPy, and we have given it alias np. Using np.array function, in opening and closing square bracket, we pass a list. So this part of your code will create a NumPy array or convert the list into NumPy array and store it in variable NumPy underscore array1. Later in the cell, it is displayed as NumPy underscore array1. If you execute this cell, you will get the output 2, 4, 6, and 10. But before it, what is appended? Array is appended, representing that it is a NumPy array. So we have seen an example how to create a NumPy array from a list. We have created a list. Then using np.array function, we pass the list as an argument. This will return an array stored in a variable displayed on the user screen. Moving to the next module. Click on next. Now, we have to compare, we have to get the differences. What are the differences between Python list and NumPy arrays? So, first difference, Python list can contain data of different data types, whereas NumPy array can contain data of same data types. We have seen it previously with example where Python list contains a string, a integer, a float, whereas NumPy array can, a single NumPy array can either contain integers, or it can contain floats, or it can contain strings only. Take huge amount of time and memory for numerical computation of large data, whereas NumPy array very cheap in terms of time and memory for numerical computation of large data. If your data is large, then if you stored it in NumPy array and execute your program, then time required and storage required for NumPy array will be less. So comparison of Python list and NumPy array in terms of timing. So here is one example given. Let us understand. We have created list X. You have created list Y, which contains ranges of number between 1 to 10,000. Y also contains ranges of number between 1 to 10, 1 to 1 lakh, 0 to 1 lakh. So again, same thing we have done. We have imported NumPy as NP. Now from the list X and list Y, we created NumPy array, array X and array Y. So list contain 0 to the last index 1 lakh minus 1. List Y contains 0 to 1 lakh minus 1 as element. Array X also contains 0 to 1 lakh minus 1 as element. Array Y also contains 1 lakh minus 1 as element. Now we perform certain computation on the list as well as array and understand their timing difference. So moving to the next slide, we have defined a function sum which is having an empty list. Inside the list, we are iterating over one of the list, length of the list means we are iterating from 0 to 1 lakh minus 1, and we are adding consecutive the position, 0th position element of list X with 0th position element of list Y, one position of element of list X with one position of element of list Y, so on till 1 lakh minus 1 position of list X to 1 lakh minus 1 position of list Y, and storing it in Z. So same thing is done in NumPy arrays, where we don't have to iterate over the array. Directly, if you add array X to array Y, 0th element of array X will be added to 0th element of array Y. This will be repeated till 1 lakh minus 1 element of array X to be added to 1 lakh minus 1 element of array Y, and simultaneously they are stored in array Z. So you have seen addition of two lists and addition of two NumPy arrays containing same element. What is the advantage? In this example, you need to focus on the timing. So when you create a timer object one using timer constructor imported from timeit module, here when you compute the time for list sum in the first case and compute the time for the function NumPy array sum in the second case, you can see for list it was taking 30 point something seconds, and for NumPy array it was taking 0.09 seconds. So how much time is saved while computation of addition operation on arrays and list? So list contains same elements, arrays contain same element, but time required for both the execution were very less for the array as compared to list. So you can observe here that time taken by Python list to do the element-wise sum is much more than the NumPy arrays. So that is the advantage of using NumPy arrays. Moving to the next module. Here we have a quiz in which true or false, Python list is faster than NumPy array. Obviously, this statement is false. NumPy arrays are faster in computation as compared to Python list. You get a score which is correct. Moving to the next module. Now, here we have a statement wherein we have to write a program. So what program we have to write? Create an NumPy array of the first 5 even numbers. So first 5 even numbers are 0, 2, 5, 11, 0, 2, 4 and 8. So we create a NumPy array of 0 to 4 and 8. Click on the Explorer, press function F10, open Jupyter Notebook. Inside the notebook, we will write the code. So inside the first cell, what we have done, we have imported NumPy as NP. We will create a NumPy array of first 5 even numbers. So this can be done in two ways. np.arange function, we are passing start as 0 and as 10 and step size as 2. After execution of this range function, we will get element as 0, step size of 2 means 2, step size of 2 means 4, step size of 2 means 6, step size of 2 means 8, last index minus 1 means the elements are 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Then it will be converted into an array using NP and stored in ARR1. So ARR1 contains 2, 4, 6, 8. So we click on the cell, run the cell. print the value of ARR1 0 to 468. Or you can use np.array function directly inside the list, pass 0 to 468. This element will be converted into a NumPy array stored in ARR2, and then ARR2 is printed on the user screen. Click on the cell, run the cell, array is created. Click on the cell, run the cell, array is directly printed on your screen, which contains 5 even elements printed on the user screen, which was our question. Moving back to our course, we will move to the next module, attributes of array, converting the screen into full screen, F11. So what are the attributes of the NumPy array? So attribute of an array, it has a shape attribute. So it will give the number of items which are present inside the NumPy array. The number of dimension and items of an array is defined by its shape. The dimension are also called as axis. So this has one axis, this has two axes, this has three axes. So suppose if you have a 2D array that look like this, so a 2D array contains 0, 0, 0 as a first subarray and 1, 1, 1 as a second subarray, which are floating point number. It has two axes. First is number of rows. So first axis is rows, which is containing values to 2 rows. Second axis, which are number of columns. So how many number of columns are there? 1, 2, 3. 3 columns are there. So second axis value will be 3. Moving to the next part, click on next. Shape, size, data type of an array. Create a NumPy array. So we are importing NumPy module as NP using np.array function. Inside opening and closing parentheses, we are passing a list containing sublist. How many sublists are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it will act as 4 rows. Each sublist contains 3 values. Those values will act as a column of each row. Okay, so 5, 6, 7 will be the first row. 8, 9, 10 will be the second row. 11, 12, 13 will be the third row. 1, 2, 3 will be the fourth row. Now, this contains 4th row. How many columns are there? 0, 1, 2. Let me write it for you so that you can understand it better. So we have passed list of list. So how many sublists were passed? 4. So how many rows are there? 0, 1, 2, 3. Total 4. How many columns are there? 0, 1, 2. So columns are 3 and rows are 4. Rows are taken horizontally, columns are taken vertically. So we have created a NumPy array ARR containing 4 rows and 3 columns. It is 2-dimensional. This 2 opening square bracket and 2 closing square bracket shows that it is having 2 dimensions. So size of the array. NumPy array has an attribute called as size. What does it tell? What are the total number of elements which are present inside the array? So you can check the size of NumPy array using dot size method. The method will return total number of elements present in the array. So ARR is the NumPy array. Dot size attribute will give the total number of elements. Here, total number of elements are 12. We can cross verify. 4 rows, 3 columns, 4 into 12. 4 into 3 is equal to 12. So first attribute was size. It gives the total number of elements present inside the NumPy array. Data type. You can check the type of data present in the NumPy array. So method is .dtype method. The data type of the array is, in this case, if we run arr.dtype, it returns the data type is int32. So if your machine is 32-bit machine, it will return int32. If your machine is 64-bit machine, it will return int64. So to check the data type of the array, we can run the array method ARR object name dot member access operator dtype. Click on the cell run. So moving to the next slide, shape of the array. An array has an attribute called as shape that tells the number of items along each axis. If we have an array having two axes means rows and columns, then the shape attribute will tell total number of rows and columns in the array. The shape attribute or method of NumPy array return as a tuple. So what is a tuple? Tuple is written in opening and closing parentheses. It is immutable. If it is a two-dimensional matrix, then it will contain two elements. The first element will act as a row number, how many number of rows. Second element will act as a column number. So for ARR, which was created by us previously, which was a 4x3 matrix containing 12 elements, if we run ARR dot shape, it is returning a tuple containing value 4, 3, where 4 are the number of rows and 3 are the number of columns. So we have seen a method dot shape, which returns the values of the axis, values along the axis. So if it is one dimensional, it will return total number of elements. If it is two dimensional, it will return the number of rows and number of columns. If it is three dimensional, it will return the values of each dimension. Moving to the next slide, dimension of the array. You have one more attribute called as dot endim, which gives the number of dimension of the NumPy array. So through the array object, we can call the attribute endim. In this case, ARR is a two-dimensional array which contains 4 rows and 3 columns. So array.endim will return a value 2. That number of dimensions are 2. So what is the syntax? Object name dot member of access operator and attribute name. Now we have type function. So type function gives the type of object. Everything in Python is an object. Suppose you have an object. If you want to know the type of the object, is that you will use type function to know about it. So if you check the type of ARR, it will show that it is a NumPy ND array. But if you want to check the data type present in the NumPy array, then you have to run the attribute of the array using array object arr.dtype. Then it will show the data type of element of the array. So type array will give the data type is NumPy array, and array.dtype will give the data type of element present inside the NumPy array. Question: a Python list is different. If you create a Python list here in example, if you go through the example, we are creating a list containing 4 integers, 1, 2, 3, 4. We check the type of Python list. It is a list. So Python list does not have this dtype method that is to be understood. For list, we cannot run dtype method to get the data type of the element present inside the list. Why this is so? Because list can contain multiple data types, so it does not support any dtype method to return the dtype of all the elements because they can be different. Moving to the next module now. Click on next, it will move to the next module. Okay. Now, in this module, we will see how to create NumPy arrays. So we have previously seen how to create arrays using array function, arrange function, creating NumPy arrays using list. In this, we will see how to create NumPy arrays using linspace function, arrange function, arrays function, zeros functions, and ones function. array. You can use array function to create a NumPy array. You can see here in the first row, array is nothing but first inner list 1 to 57, and similarly the other rows are other inner list in index wise. So np.array we have created using inside the array function, we have passed uh, lists of lists where sublists are 1 to 57, 5 to 76, 6 to 08. All the data types are integer so that array can be created. The sublist will act as row. So how many rows are there? 0, 1, 2. So 3 rows. And element inside the sublist will act as number of columns. So how many elements are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So number of columns are 4. So here we are creating two-dimensional array using numpy.array function having 3 rows and 4 columns. Rows are attributed vertically containing horizontally containing element 1 to 57, 5 to 76, 6 to 08, and columns are attributed vertically 156, 222, 570, and 768. There are 3 rows and 4 columns. That is the use of array function. To the array function, we can pass a list of similar data type elements. It will convert it to array, store it in a variable, and it can be printed on the user screen using arange function. So here in this example, we are using arange function and we are passing it a integer. So it will create a iterable from starting from 0, ending with 10 minus 1 means 9 with step size of 1. So how many elements are created? 0. Elements are created as 0, 1, 2 till 9. This element is converted into NumPy array and stored in ARR variable and directly printed on the user screen. Here 10 means arange will generate first 10 integers starting from 0. Similarly, if you pass 5 in the bracket, it will generate first 4 integers 0 to 4. So first 5 integers ranging from 0 to 4. Second was arange function. So to the arange function, we can give a start value, stop value, and step size. So in this case, if we don't specify the start value, by default start value will be 0. Stop value will be last index minus 1 is 10 minus 1, 9. And step size by default is 1. Therefore, number were generated 0, 1, 2, 3 till 9. Moving to the next part, zeros function. So if you want to create NumPy array containing all zeros, then you can use np.zeros function. So here is an example where we are creating one-dimensional NumPy array containing all zeros, five zeros. The example is np.zeros and the number of zeros which you want to be there inside the NumPy array. So how many zeros you want? 5 zeros. So 5 zeros, a list of 5 zeros will be first generated, then it will be converted into a NumPy array stored in ARR variable, and then it is printed on the user screen. Moving to the next function, where we create a NumPy array using ones. So the function is np.ones, and we are passing it argument 4. So it will create a NumPy array containing 4 ones. Example is there and output is directly printed on the user screen. Similar to the zeros function, we have ones function. Now you have linspace function. Linspace function generate equally spaced value in a given range. The syntax of linspace function is np.linspace. You have start value, from where we have to start. You have to stop value from where we have to stop, and num, how many number of values we have to generate. They are keyword argument. They can be passed directly also. 5, 10, 5. It will start from 5. It will end till 10, and it will generate equally spaced 5 values. So in this example, from 5 to 10, we have generated equally spaced 5 values using np.linspace function. np.linspace start is equal to 5, stop is equal to 10, and num is equal to 5. Will generate 5 values starting from 5 till 10 with equally spacing. So here equal spacing is 1.25. Moving to the next slide. So we have to move to the next module. So click on next. So here we have a quiz. Now you have a NumPy array named A. So consider that we have a NumPy array A. Which of the following method will you use to know the type of A? So to get the type of A, we can use type function. Okay, what it will return? It will return np.nd array. Click on type. Okay, if you want to get the element data type of the element of the array, then you can use d type. Select the correct statement. An array can have any number of dimension, and to check the number of dimensions of the array, we can use a method called as ndim. Thus this is correct. So first statement only is correct. See, array can have any number of dimensions, and to check the dimension, we have an attribute ndim. Array can have only 2 dimension, false. Array can have any number of dimension. To check the number of dimension of the array, we use a method called as shape. It is incorrect. Shape gives the number of axes. So the first option was correct. So moving to the next question. To create a NumPy array using Python list, which function we use? We use array function. So np dot array, inside the array we pass a list. So first option is correct. So submit. Okay, so you can use type and dtype. So here, so in that case, what you can do, you can click on retry. Now you know that type and dtype both are correct. First option is correct and array is correct. Can submit and update your score. Moving to the next module. Here we have studied introduction to NumPy, Python list and NumPy list, attributes of array and creating basic array. Now we will study basic methods of array and reshaping. Starting with basic methods of array and reshaping. So we can add, remove, and sort the NumPy array. For adding an element to the NumPy array, we have a method called as append. So in this case, we are creating in the first cell, we are creating a NumPy array containing elements 2, 5, 7, 3, 4, 6, and we are directly printing the array on the user screen. Using np.append method, this is NumPy library append method. You're not using array object. What you're using, np.append. In opening and closing parenthesis, we are passing the array and the element to be appended to the array. Here we want 15 to be appended to the array. So when you run this cell, to the previous array, 15 will be added and the array is returned. That array is directly printed on the user screen. So after printing 2, 5, 7, 3, 4, 6, 15 will be printed on the user screen. So understand here, when you want to get attribute, you use object name dot member access operator and the uh, attribute name. But when you are using append function, you have to call np dot append, not arr dot append. Adding an element. So when you want to add an element to a Python list, you can also add element to the Python list using np.append method, but the return object will be a numpy array. So what you are doing, you are in the next example, you are creating a list. This list contain elements 2, 5, 4, 6, 7. Now you run a np.append method on the list and you pass element to be appended 10. So 10 will be appended to the list, but it will be stored in ARR as a numpy array. So after execution of this first cell, you will get the output 2, 5, 4, 6, 7, 10 ARR, which is a numpy array. When you check the type of ARR, you can see numpy.nd array. Clear the screen. So we have seen append method. We have seen two examples of append method. In the first example, we appended the element to the numpy array directly. Resultant will be a numpy array. In the next example, using np.append method, we have appended element to a Python list, but the return object was numpy array. Question: you cannot use append method directly with the array object. As I have told you, you cannot run ARR dot member access operator append. Append method is NumPy library method. Therefore, you have to use np dot append. Then you have to pass array object, and then you have to pass element to be added. Suppose 20, 30, 40, and so on. So it is not a method available in the array object. It is a method of NumPy module. Whereas in case of list, you have append method available directly. So L is a list. So list object contains a append method L dot append. In that case, it will run successfully 5, 10, 15, 20. Moving to the next method, removing an element. To remove the element from NumPy array, we have NumPy's library delete method. So what you have to pass? NumPy dot delete array name and index name from where the element is to be deleted. So you can remove an element from an array using delete method of NumPy. See the snippet below. You have created ARR, which is a NumPy array created using NumPy dot array function, to which you have passed an argument 2, 5, 7, 3, 4, 6. So it created an array 2, 5, 7, 3, 4, 6. Indexing starts from 0. So 0th element is 2, first element is 5, second element is 7, third element is 3, fourth element is 4, and fifth element is 6. So when you run np.delete method on the NumPy array ARR and pass index as 1, 5 will be deleted from the NumPy array, and a NumPy array which is written contain 2, 7, 3, 4, 6. Element at index 1 was deleted using np.delete method from ARR. So np.delete method takes two arguments. First is the array name and index position from where the element to be deleted. Removing an element from a Python list. So when you delete an element, you can also remove element from Python list using np.delete method. Here the when the result is returned, the return result will act as a NumPy array. For example, here we have imported NumPy as np. We have a list which contain 2, 6, 4, 5, 3. np.delete method was run on the list and element at index position 1. So element at index position 1 is 6. So return will be 2, 4, 5, 3. That will be a NumPy array containing element 2, 4, 5, 3. So when you run a delete method on the list, it will return a NumPy array. Similar to when you run the append method on the list, the result will be written as a NumPy array. Sorting an array. So you have np.sort method which sorts the array in the ascending order. So ARR is the array contained 2, 5, 7, 3, 4, 6. When you run np.sort method on ARR, it will sort the array in ascending order. The output is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can pass additional attribute comma reverse is equal to true. So the array will be sorted in the descending order. So you have np.sort method, which will take one argument array and it will return the sorted array in the ascending order. You can pass a attribute reverse is equal to true to sort the array in the descending order. Moving to the next part. Reshaping an array. Now, can you reshape an array? Yes, it is possible. There are two ways of reshaping an array. You can use np.reshape method, to which you will pass the NumPy array and you will pass the shape. So you want the original array to be converted into a shape of 5 by 5 matrix. So you will pass a shape as 5 by 5. Or you can use array.reshape function. So it is available as an attribute and it is also available as NumPy module function. Also, it is available as array object method. So you can run the reshape function on the array and directly pass shape as an argument 5, 5. So this, by using both the syntaxes, you can reshape a original NumPy array into a different shape NumPy array. Number of elements in the NumPy array will remain the same. Using np.reshape will change the shape of your array. Also, there won't be any changes in the original data other than the shape. Yes. Caution, whenever use reshape method, you need to make sure that array you want to produce after reshaping need to have the same number of element as the original array. Suppose you have an array of 24 elements, and if you want to reshape this array, you need to make sure that your new array also has total 24 elements. You can reshape this array as 8, 3, 8 into 3, 24, or 6, 4, 6 into 4, 24, or 12, 2, 12 into 2, 24, on and so on, as their array will have a total of 24 elements. We will see examples. We are creating a NumPy array containing 24 elements starting with index starting from 0 till 23. So np.arange function 24. This arange function will be treated as start index is not given, therefore it will start from 0. Start in the last index is 24. It will run from 0 to 23, last index -1. Step size is not given, step size is 1. So it will generate element 0, 1, 2 till 23. Those elements will be converted into a NumPy array and stored in ARR variable. Here ARR variable is directly printed on the user screen. So you have an NumPy array containing 24 elements 0 to 23, and it is a one-dimensional NumPy array. Now, you are using np.reshape function. Use np.reshape to change the shape of the array as shown in the code snippet here. So it is in the size is less. So the first example is here we are running np dot reshape function. We are running reshape function on numpy array ARR, which contains 24 elements, and we are shaping it as 8, comma 3, means it will contain 8 rows and 3 columns. Therefore, the output 0, 1 till 7, 8 rows, 3 columns. 1, 2, 3, 3 columns. Indexing starts from 0, 0 to 7, 8 rows, 0, 1, 2, 3 columns. So 8 by 3. Similarly, in the next example, we are reshaping the ARR, which contains 24 element, into 6 into 4. What does this 6 represent? 6 rows. What does 4 represent? 4 columns. So sequentially 0, 1, 2, 3. First row is created. Then 4, 5, 6, 7. Second row is created. So we have reshaped our original 24 elements into 6 rows, 4 columns, which also contain 24 elements. In the last case, same example, we have run np dot reshape function to reshape the numpy array ARR in having 2 rows, comma, 12 columns. So you can see 0, 1 to 11 is present in the first row and 12 to 23 is present in the second row. So we have seen example of np.reshape function, how it is reshaping the original array ARR into a two-dimensional array, and number of elements in the original array as well as reshaped array are same. Reshaping a Python list. So you can run np.reshape function on the Python list. The return answer is a numpy array. So for example, in this case, we have a Python list containing 12 elements starting from 0 to 11. So we can reshape it as a two-dimensional matrix containing 2 rows and 6 columns. So we are running np.reshape function on a list. We are reshaping it into 2 rows and 6 columns. So total number of elements are 12. Original list contain 12 elements. Reshaping will result in 12 elements. It will be stored in reshaped array. When we print reshaped array on the user screen, it contains 2 rows and 6 columns. These are the 2 rows and these are the 6 columns. And it contains total 12 number of elements, which are numpy array. So till now you have understood, when you use any np function on a list, it will convert list into a numpy array and result will be written on the user screen. Now, you can, as discussed at the start, using the array object, we can directly call the reshape function. So in this example, we are demonstrating the same. You have np.arange function to create a numpy array containing elements 0 to 19 with a step size of 1, which is stored in ARR. ARR is directly printed on the user screen. You can use array object dot member access operator, reshape method, and pass the element which are to be reshaped in. So it contains 20 elements. So we are passing shape as 5, 4. So it will, the resultant reshape will be containing 5 rows and 4 columns. You can see it has 5 rows and 4 columns. List does not have reshape method. That is the difference between arrays and list. So list does not support directly reshaping of it using a reshape method, whereas array objects support directly reshaping using array object name dot reshape method. Moving to the next slide. You have a quiz here. So let's solve this quiz. Which of the following method will help you to add element to numpy array? Append method. Which of the following method which help you to remove an element at a particular index in numpy array? Delete method. Delete method. Numpy.delete method to takes to argument array name and the index name from where the element is to be deleted. True or false? Using append method directly on a numpy array, will throw an error. Yes, it is true because we use np dot append method. We don't use arr dot append. So np dot append array name and the element name. Next question. True or false? The sort method can be used directly on NumPy array, ARR or sort, where array is NumPy array. Python list L dot sort, L is a Python list. We cannot use the sort method on Python list. Yes, this is true. NumPy array, we have to cross check it. So NumPy array dot np dot sort we have seen. We have this L dot sort method. Means if you go through this question, this is reverse. List support sort method. You can call sort method. No, sorted method can be solved on list. So this answer will be false. So take a eraser, click on mouse, click on false, because you have np dot sort and the numpy array name. Select the correct statement about reshape method. So reshape a m comma n. So mn is the new shape we want. Here a can be either Python list or NumPy array. Yes, this is true. ARR or D shape will throw an error when ARR is a NumPy array. This is false because ARR dot reshape can be run with the array object directly. Last example we have seen previously. L dot reshape will throw an error where L is a Python list. This is true. So first is true, second is false, third is true. So what are the statements? Both 1 and 3. 1 and 3 are true, rest of them are false. Submit. We have all the questions answered correctly. Moving to the next part. Where we will see. Now we have a coding exercise. In this quiz we have solved. We want to solve the coding exercise. So have we solved? Okay, moving to the first question. What is the first question? Create a NumPy array. There must be 16 numbers starting from 0 to 16. Use the function arange to select the correct array. So we have to select the correct array. So fn, press F11, move to Jupyter Notebook. What is the question? Create a NumPy array from 0 to 16 exclusive boolean using arange function. So we will use the arange function. Here np.arange 16. So it will create a NumPy array 0 to 16, 16 exclusive means 0 to 15. So when we print ARR of 4, array is printed 0 to 15. So 0 to 15. Now here dimension is 4 by 4. So how we can convert this array into dimension 4 by 4? We can run reshape function. When we run reshape function, we can pass that we want the 16 elements to be a matrix containing 4 rows and 4 columns. So it is displayed 4 rows, 4 columns. So first element is 0, last element is 15. Moving to the question, this will be your answer. Consider a given Python list. Follow the steps below. So a list is given. Convert the Python list into NumPy array. Sort the array. Delete the fifth element of the array. So a list is given. To create a NumPy array from the list, we will call np.array function and pass the list as argument. NumPy array is created, stored in ARR of 5. Then we check. Okay. Click on the cell, press escape, B. Then we print the array here, ARR of 5. Yes, it is an array. You can use np.sort function and pass the array to sort this array. So np.sort ARR of 5 will sort the numpy array which is stored in ARR of 5 again. Click on the cell and run the cell. Press escape, print ARR of 5. We have sorted it. After sorting, what is the question? Delete the fifth element of the numpy array. So we have to run np.delete function. So we are running np.delete function on ARR of 5, fifth element. As index is starting from 0, we have to use the index as 4. If we use the index 4, we will delete the fifth element. Click on the cell and run the cell. Updated array is written and stored in ARR of 5. We check the content of ARR of 5, 2, 3, 7, 8, 12, 13, 22, 23, 25, 41, 46, 54. It does not contain 10 and last element is 54. So it does not contain 10 and last element is 54. Now, third, consider the Python list L from question 2. So from question 2, we have L which was already created. So list, append 53 to the list. So list has directly append method. L.append 53 element is appended to the list and we printed the list on the user screen. So this is our list now. 10, 2, 7, 8, 3, 22 and last element appended is 53. Reshape it into a shape 2, 7. So we run np.reshape function. We pass list as an argument and we pass a tuple shape which contains 2 rows and 7 columns. So the 14 elements of the list will be reshaped into a 2 rows and 7 column 40 elements, and then we print the resultant array on the user screen. The result is 10, 2, 7, 8, 3, 22, 54. 12, last element is 53. So first, okay, submit. You have, so we have successfully completed this exercise. Moving to the next part. Now, we will see indexing of numpy array. So press function F11 to full screen. Positive indexing is and slicing are supported by numpy array. Positive indexing here, if you talk about example in this array, array has 10, 30, 20, 30, 40. So it has row index 1 and column index 1, 2, 3, 4. But how it is treated internally, indexing starts from 0. First element has index 0, second element has index 1, third element has index 2, fourth element has index 3, and we are starting at index 0. Now, in the second case, second example, we have a 2-dimensional array. It contains 2 rows. So index of the first row is 0. Index of the second row is 1. Index of first column is 0. Index of second column is 1. Index of second column is 2. Third column is 2. So indexing starts from 0 for rows also, for columns also. Positive indexing, positive single indexing in an array. So we will directly go to the example. We have a numpy array containing element 10, 20, 30, 40. Array is printed on the user screen. If you access ARR of 2, means you are accessing element at index number 2, 0, 1, 2. Therefore, 30 was written and 30 was printed on the user screen. So you have a single element. So one element was accessed and written and printed directly on the user screen. Now, you have positive single indexing in Python nested list. So you have a nested list, a list of lists. So it is a 2-dimensional list, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So what, getting an element from the list, say you want to get element 4 which is present in the first sublist. So you want this 4. So this first element is index 0. Okay, let me explain it in detail. So indexing is important. If we go to, okay, here, this is index 0, first element 246. This is index 1, second element 8410. Now you want this 4 from the first index. So you will write Python, then you will write underscore list, and you will write 0. So this will return a result 246. But from the result, which contains 0 at 0 at index 2, 1 index 4, and second index 6, what we want 4. So in front of it, by a square bracket, we have to write 1. So from the result, it will fetch 4 and give it a results on the user screen. Therefore, Python list 0, 0th element of the major Python list, which is the first sublist. And from the first sublist, we have element 1, which is the second element of the first sublist. So in this way, if you have a two-dimensional list, a single element is fetched and given on the user screen. For NumPy array, you can use different syntax for it. So we move to the example. So here we have a NumPy array, which was created from the previous Python list. This NumPy array is two-dimensional NumPy array containing 2 rows and 3 columns. If you want to access the first sublist from the main list, which is at index 0, you give the name of the array and in square bracket 0. So it will give 246. And in array, from this first access 246, we want 4. So instead of giving NumPy ARR in square bracket 0, and from that 0 you are accessing 1, that can be done. Or num, if it is a NumPy array, you get the first subarray and you want 0th index element, you write 0. You want 1 index element, you write 1. You want 2 index element, you write 2. So you want 0 index element 2 to be printed on the user screen. So here you will write 0. So when you write a 0, 0, from the first subarray, it is accessing the element at index 0. So these two syntaxes, num array 0, 0 is also valid in case of NumPy array, and in case of NumPy array, this syntax is also valid for accessing the elements of the NumPy array. Okay, so positive single indexing. Now, same example is repeated. We have discussed this previously. We have two-dimensional NumPy array. NumPy array of 0 will return the first element, sub-element of the NumPy array, that is 246. And from that 246, we are accessing index 0, which is 2. Therefore, 0, 0 will return 2. Now, instead of accessing a single element, if you want to access multiple elements, then you can use accessing in intervals. So here you understood this, that this is a two-dimensional NumPy array containing 2 rows and 3 columns. So when you write NumPy num array, inside it 0, so it will access the 0th element. What it has accessed? 246. And from this 246, we want 0 to 2. So this is at index 0, this is as index 1, and this is at index 2. 0 to 2 means 0 included, 2 excluded. So it will start from 0, it will run till 1, it will don't take the element at index 2. So here, if you have here 2, the out 0 colon 2 means we are taking interval of value. This interval is 0 and 1. So in the first subarray 0 at interval 0 and 1, we have 2, 4. Therefore, 2, 4 is printed on the user screen. So instead of accessing a single element, you can access multiple elements using intervals. So this is also called as slicing, where you use colon to access the sub element of the main object. Then it is called as slicing. One more example of slicing is there. We will go in this example in detail. You have a 4 by 4 matrix. So what is a 4 by 4 matrix? 0, 1, 2, 3. This is at index 0. At index 1, row is 4, 5, 6, 7. At index 2, the row is 8, 9, 10, 11. At index 3, what is the row? 12, 13, 14, 15. And what are the column indexes? So this is the 0th column. This is the first column. This is the third column, second column, and this is the third column. 4 by 4 matrix. Now, if you are running 1 to 3, so you are assessing elements from this array. So name of the array is num_arr. Inside it, you are assessing an interval. What interval you are assessing? 1, 3. So what does it return? It results in 1, 2. 1, 2 means including the first index and excluding the last index, 1, 2. So it will run for 1, 2. So row 1 to 2 is, this is 1 and this is 2. So we need to understand that we are taking 1, 2 rows. Comma. Second index is 2, 4. 2 colon 4. So what it is resulting in, first index is included 2, second index is excluded. So we are running for 2, 3. What column we are running for? We are running for 2, 3. So intersection of this for row 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. For row 3, column 2, 3 is 11, 10, 11. So resultant is 6, 7, 10, 11. So in this example, we have assessed elements in interval, row wise, column wise, which resultant in a subarray containing 4 elements, 6, 7, 10, 11. And we have seen how it is assessed, using slicing. Okay, moving to the next example. The same thing is explained, which I explained previously. This is row 1, 2. This is row 2, 3. Intersection of it is 6, 7, 10, 11, which was treated as your result. Okay. This was positive indexing. Now, select the correct option, which will help you to get value 13 from the array. So you have an array ARR. You have a array ARR, which is 3. It contains 3 rows, 0, 1, 2. Columns are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is 3 by 5, means it contains 15 element, 3 rows and 5 columns. And what they want to assess is they want to assess 13. So what will come here? Here will be ARR. You want row, first index is row. Therefore, we will assess 2. So this will return this complete row. In this complete row, we want to assess the element at position 0, 1, 2, 3. So this is 2, 3. Same thing can be written as ARR of 2, 3. This is supported in arrays. So what are the options? This is the option and this is the option. This is 2 and this is 4. So what is the correct option? both 2 and 4. The eraser in the screen. Move to the next question. Moving to the next question. Okay, remove everything first. Okay, click on the mouse. Which of the following character or symbol can be used for slicing an array? So we have seen when we want to take an interval of elements, we have to use colon. So here the first option is correct. Submit. You got a score 2 out of 2. Move to the next part of the code. Now, here we have to see negative indexing. Now, negative indexing is different from positive indexing. Positive indexing starts from index 0, whereas negative indexing starts from index -1 in the reverse order. To assess the element, single element or interval of element, we can use negative indexing, but the order will be reversed. What I am saying is, you have here a two-dimensional NumPy array containing 2 rows and 3 columns having elements 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. This is a 2 by 3 NumPy array containing total 6 elements. Now, if you want to start negative indexing, it has -1, -2 as rows, -1, -2, -3 index as column. So negative indexing starts in the reverse order. So for the row index, you have -1 and -2. For column index, you have -1, -2, -3 in reverse. So same thing is represented in the figure. The last row is given an index -1, second last row is given an index -2, last column is given an index -1, second last column given index -2, and third last column index given is -3. If this is understood, then we can go to the understanding the assessing element part. So using negative single indexing, using negative indexing on 1D array, pass the negative index of the element in a square bracket. So you have an array contain 10, 20, 30, 40, and we have to access 30. So 30 is at the index. So if you use negative index, the last element is at index 1, second last element is index 2, third last element is index -3, and fourth last element is index -4. So if you want to use 30, what you have to use? You have to use -2. So when you are using ARR name, array name, ARR, and in square bracket, when you give -2, it is assessing the second last element and it is printing on the user screen. Moving to the next example. Here, we want a single element from a two-dimensional NumPy array to be assessed using negative indexing. So we go to the detail of this example. You have 2, 4, 6, and 8, 10, 12 in NumPy array, num ARR. And what we have to assess? We have to assess 10. So we have to assess this value. So if you use negative indexing, this will be -1 row, this will be -2 row, this will be -1 last element, -2, -3. Now assessing, first you have to give the row number. So for num array, when you give the square bracket, you give the row number. You want this row, therefore we will give -1, comma, this you want -2, so that the intersection will give you 10. So here you will write -2. So -1, -2. This num ARR -1, -2 will result in a value 10. So output will be 10. So here we have assessed a single element from a multi-dimensional NumPy array using negative indexing. Moving to the next example. Now we have to assess interval of values. So to assess interval of values, we use slicing. Now you have the idea about how index interval work on NumPy arrays. You also have an idea how negative indexing works on Python. So try doing this on your own. So we have to assess 6, 7, 10, 11 using negative indexing on this array. So what is the array? 0, 1, 2, 3, then 4, 5, 6, 7, then 8, 9, 10, 11, then 12, 13, 14, 15. This is, suppose we are using negative indexing, then for rows we have to start from the last row, which will be -1. This will be -2. This will be -3. This will be -4. What do we want? 6, 7, 10, 11. Where is 6, 7, 10, 11? 6, 7, 10, 11 is here. So which row you want? -3 and -2. So you give the NumPy array name. What is the name of NumPy array? Num array. In square bracket, you give the interval. The interval would start from -3. From where it will run? It will run till -2, comma. Which column you want? Here, the column indexing. Column indexing will be this is -1, this will be -2, this will be -3, -4, starting from the last column till the first. So -1, -2. So you have to start from -1 and you have to run till -2. So this should be there. So let's cross check this whether this is correct or not. And then we will come to the conclusion whether we have assessed them correctly or not. So you know how to index and how to assess. Now we will cross check. See, -3 to -1. Now here one modification is there. From where we went? We went -3 to -2. So last, excluding the last index. So if you want to exclude the last index, what do? We do -1. So here, if you want to get the result -1, you have to give the index 0. And here we want to run from -2. This is -1, -2, -3. So we wanted this part. So we started from -2 and we want to run till -1. -1, one index will be subtracted, therefore we use 0. So you have to use one less number from the index which is extracted. So it is -1, therefore we use 0. Here the last index was -2, therefore we use -1. So when we go through the exercise solving part, we will see one more example of this and understand this in more detail. So going to the exercise solving part. Now, select the correct option which will help you to get given set of values in the box of the array. So this is an example. This is, if we use positive indexing, this is row 0, row 1, row 2. For column 0, column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. What we want first and second row. So ARR, it will run from 1 and it will run till 3. Why? We want last index -1. So this will result in 1, 2. Here what we want? 2, 3, 4. So we will start from 2 and we will run till 5. So the result will be 2, 3, 4. starting from the start index, excluding the last index. So it will run from 2, 3, 4. So do we have this option? So yes, we have this option 1, 3, comma 2, 5. Any more option satisfying this? So this is starting from 2 and it will running till the last of the loop. So this option also suffices the same condition. We don't specify the second index. It will run till the ending of the number array. So 1, 3 was good. 1, 3 was good. It will select 1, 2. 2 to 5 or 2 to ending of the array is good because it is selecting 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14. So answer option for this question will be, click on the mouse, here both 2 and 3, option 2 and option 3. Now, can we get above set values in equation 1 from using array using negative indexing? So if we use negative indexing on this, so this will be -1, this will be -2, this will be -3, this will be -1, -2, -3. So what we have to do, you have to run from, so to assess rows. So rows are running from -1 and it will run till -1. So we go from -2 to 0. So this will give this much part, last index -1. So this will result in -2, last index -1 will be 1, comma. Now we want this part. So we can give -3 colon the last index -1. So run it till 0. So it will run till -3, -2, -1, which will result in this 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14. So it can also be written as -2 colon complete row till the ending. So don't specify. -3 colon complete row, complete column till the ending. So -3 colon space empty. So these two answers suffice. So if we select this option, click on the mouse, run it below. Yes, it is correct to write -2 colon and -3 colon. Our answer should be correct. You get a score 2 by 2. Now, moving to the next part in which we will discuss strides. Go below the course. This is the last part of this micro course, strides. So if you want to assess element on a particular interval, then that interval is called as a stride. So where it will be used, it will be used in place of slicing, where you have a sub element of the main array to be selected after particular interval. So striding. The steps to be taken while moving in one direction. It's always good to understand through an example. So we will go to the example. Here, example is there where you have 1 to 15, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And we have this as positive index 0, 1, 2, 3. This is also positive index 0, 1, 2, 3. So up till the part is clear, this is the array given to you. Now we want to assess. So if you want to select only first and third row, so what we have to select this first row, and after this we want to select this row. Okay, so you will give the array name num array. If you want to select the first three row, the interval was we start from 0, we'll run till last this, excluding the last index, we'll run till 3, but we want to skip 1, we want to skip from 0 to 2. So the skipping part is given as colon 2. So this much part will result in 0, 1, 2, and this much part will result in step size. So from 0, a step size of 2. So it will give a row at index 0 and it will give a row at index 2 in a first and third row. So this 2 was called as a stride, which was the step size. Okay. In example, in questions, we have one more example on this. So we will repeat it there also. Same thing, the step size in case of interval, here it is discussed as stride. Okay, go moving to the questions, which will be the last part of the micro course. Click on next. Write a program to do the following task. So what is the task? In Python, using a NumPy library to create an array, say ARR of first 25 exclusive integers starting from 0. And then we have to reshape that with 5 and 5. So moving to Jupyter Notebook, doing the same thing. What we are creating, here is the answer. Skip A. You are using np.arange function, which will create integer from 0 to 24 with a step size of 1, because the stop is given as 25. So array is created. Now we have to reshape the array. So what is the function? np.reshape arr 5, 5. So 0 to 24, 25 elements. So it can be reshaped as 5 by 5 matrix. So when you print the 5 by 5 matrix on the user screen, you have 0 to 24 printed on the user screen. Now, select the element present in first two rows, row 0 and row 1, and last two columns, column 3 and column 4. So what we have to do, we have to select element of first two rows. So here the first two rows are 0 and 1. These two are to be selected, and last two columns. So this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we want column 3, 4, and we want row 0, 1. So we will write ERR. We will use the interval from 0. We will want 1. So there we will write 2. From 3, we want 4. So 3, comma, last index plus 1 is 5. So this will result in 0, 1, last index minus 1. This will result in 3, 4. So ultimately, it will result in the element 3, 4, 3, 8, 4, 9. So moving back to the question, So if you can see row 0, row 1, and column 3, column 4 will result in array 3, 4, 8, 9. So in the Jupyter notebook, and array.name, we started from 0 to 2. We ran till 3 to 5 and we got the output 3, 4, 8, 9. Now, the next question. Next question also we will take in detail. From the array created in question 1, that is 5 by 5 array, select all the elements at even position columns. So what is the question? We want even position columns and odd position rows using stride concept. So even position columns and odd position rows. So moving back to the example array again, if you go to the drawing board and write, this is column 0, this is column 1, this is column 2, this is column 3, this is column 1. So we want even position. Understood. Okay. What we want people to see. Select all the elements and evenly position column and oddly position rows. So here oddly position rows are 0 is even. So what we want? We want 1, then we want 3, so until the end. This is 0th column, first column, second column, third column, fourth column. Evenly positioned columns. So 0 is even, yes, we want this column. 2 is even, we want this column. 4 is even, we want this column. So what will be the result? The result will be 5, 1, 2 is 7, 1, 4 is 9, 3, 0 is 15, 3, 2 is 17, 3, 4 is 19. This should be the resultant answer. Now we want to do this using stride. So we will give the array name ARR. We will start from now from where we want the rows 1. We will run till the last ending. So last is 4. So index plus 1 will be 5. And we will give a stride of 2. So this will result in 1. This much part will result in 1, 2, 3, 4. And we are incrementing by 2. So from 1, we will go to 3. From 3, you don't have an increment of 5. So the result is 1, 3. So we fetch 1, 3. For column, what we will start from 0. We will run till the end. So we want to run till 4. So we'll run till 5. And what is the stride? You want every alternate. So we will use 2. So this will result in 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and a stride of 2. From 0, we will jump to 2. From 2, we will jump to 4. So it resulted in 2 rows and 3 columns. 1, 3 and 0, 2, 4. If we execute the same using the same indexes, you can see the result. Click on the cell. You create ARR np.a range 25. You reshape it 5 by 5. Check the dimension, it is true. You run from 1 colon, you have not given it. You can give 5 here with a stride of 2. 0 colon 5 with a stride of 2 and run the cell. You get output as 5, 7, 9, 15, 17, 19. Go back to your console and click on the answer. If you check your answer on it, submit, you score 2 by 2 on both the questions. Now going to the next part. Next is the optional part wherein on DPHI YouTube channel, you have Introduction to Fundamentals of Python and NumPy. So this is a 2 hours, 1.5 hour video you can refer to strengthen your concept. That's it about this micro course where we have completed majorly all the functions of NumPy. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Do hit that subscribe button for more such technical content and see you in the next video.